Hold on, Chud. Chud wants to see everybody, and I'm hold on. Still getting set up. And I know. I'm trying to do a show, and here you are. Hold on. I gotta go to this one, and then go to the morning, and then go to here. Hi. There we go. Good morning, everybody. We can hear everything okay. Ooh, I'm loud. I'm very loud. That's interesting. That's to quote the Big Lebowski, that's fucking interesting, man. Hold on. We have a guest. Come here. I know. What is it? Chudley wants to say hi. Hello, Chudley. Hello, everyone. Chud is mad when I'm gone for a couple of days. And, like, Chip is outside my door because he thinks that there's action going on in the room and that food is happening and he's being left out or something. It's just a playful thing. Chud is like, dude, where have you been? What have you been doing? She's become the Glenn Close of cats. I will not be ignored. Also, after I do my show in the basement, and that's where the cat boxes are, because that's in this house. The opinion of everyone else is that my show and the cat box are basically in the same plane of existence. That's all. And I'm okay with that because it is necessary and sometimes it stinks. But if it wasn't here, the shit would pile up. Look at that. I just made up a great reason why I am honored to have my show. Trolls, I beat you to another one. Anyways, so Chud is lovely. Chud also is old and a bit pudgy, and she comes down. Hal, with the cat in your lap, you look more and more like a Bond villain. I think we've found another one that's on to us, Chud, haven't we? I just pushed a button and Scotty 561 has disappeared, has slid down a slope. But Chud, after she poops or uses the box, I don't really, it's her business. I don't do any, we're not doing any kind of scientific experiments. After she's done, she wants a ride back up the stairs from me. So this is the meowing is not so much I love you, my owner. Thank you for providing me with food and a place to do my business. No, it's, hey, buddy, what's at the stairs? Can you get me back up to the place where I lay down? Thank you very much. I'm kidding. She actually does miss me. When I'm gone, she hangs around the door and she meows. Parent, Hal Sparks, car parent. What? Car parent? Oh, I see. It's her universe, Hal. You're just the staff. This is true. Cats rule, especially Chud. That's right. Some people were asking to see more of the other cats. I will do my best this week to try and get a Molly sighting. She's the hardest, though, because she does not like to be carried at all. I can usually squeeze about 4 or 5 feet before she gets like, what? Like, she just has this paranoia that we're going to chuck her out a window or something. Poor thing. So, Chud, can I give you a lift upstairs and then do my show? Is that okay? Is that okay for you? Okay. You guys talk amongst each other. I'll be right back. I got to put on some like hold music. I got to make some. I'll make some hold music. Okay. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. All right, I'm back. Whew. Hold on, let me shut the door because Chip will come in and chew wires and all that. I don't even. So crazy. Hi guys. Hi everybody. Hello. I have to say, before I get started, wait, no, that's not true. This is part of starting. I hate that expression. Before I start talking, I'd like to say, I guess to some people's degree, it goes back to, depends on what your definition of is. So, like, is foreplay sex or is foreplay and sex is sex? And therefore, I did not have sex with that woman or sexual relations. That's not technically part of the sexual relations. That's just the lead up. You know what I mean? That's like saying, I have never played professional baseball while you're in spring training. Sort of true. Anyways, I'm amazed this weekend, and maybe it was because it was the first trip to the South since I've been doing this show. I've done a few, band trips, stand-up trips, and sexy liberal comedy tour trips during the last couple of years since I've been doing this show. And you guys know that I have the chat up. You just saw it. As it races by, I try to absorb as much of it as possible. For the record, I do speed read, but I'm used to speed reading with my fingers under it, which I cannot do on a screen without it looking creepy. So I do see as much as I can. And yes, Moms Russo, I have watched all of Stranger Things. Enjoyed it. Yeah. And I'm glad you love Bob Odenkirk. Look at that. I didn't even look and I saw that one. So moving around, doing the stuff that I've been doing, I've been to Chicago. We went to Madison for Sexy Liberal. There are very few, genuinely Southern spots. Certainly no Texas dates, during that time. Haven't, done the Arlington Improv. I think the closest would be Phoenix even. And during the time the show's been going on, I focused so much on trying to do what has become the mission of the show that I consider you guys as audience members as I see you through there. And then we're almost at 40K. It's so nice. That as as people become, mods or regulars or members or, or Patreon supporters, stuff like my subconscious constantly sees you guys as it's going through. And then you guys all know, we've talked about this before, just like, a couple of our old radio, literally old Bob, but our, radio call-in regulars where in between shows, we're like, hope he's okay. That eats up a larger point of my brain pan than you might think. But going out and seeing people who watch the show in person, like some of the sparklers, and bless you for coming on Saturday night for the Nerd Halen show. It was, I have to say, like looking out and seeing you guys in the NF shirts and knowing that like that's pretty deep reads. And then like seeing everybody come up and going, hey, I watched this stream or whatever. Everybody had a different way of introducing it, that they watched the show. And there are a few moments where I was so happy to just see everybody that says they watched the stream. But there were a couple of moments that the sparklers may have seen happen. The super regulars may have seen happen. There was a dude, I'll give you an example, and it was really nice. There's a guy at the Saturday night show who was really like excited. They were excited to see the show. They watched sound check, and then we went and said hi to a few people. Dude just was like wrenching handshake. It was great. Good, solid Texas handshake. I'm not being sarcastic. Genuinely, I appreciate people who are like, what's happening? I'm here, you're here. It's the dudes that try to roll your knuckles and squeeze your hand, which, by the way, if you ever have someone trying to crush your hand with a handshake, which every celebrity, politician, local news broadcaster, winner of the Strawberry Festival, whatever minor level of celebrity or knowledge people have of you, there will be some dickhead who tries to roll your hand, squeeze your hand, roll your hand, squeeze and roll like that. They'll try to break your hand. The way you avoid that is stick your index finger out when you shake their hand. When they start doing it, when they clamp down, just straighten your index finger. It makes it impossible to roll your knuckles against themselves, and they're gripping a different group of muscles, and it's harder to squeeze your hand. This is a lesson, by the way, I have had to teach cast members through the years, and it's probably kick them in the nuts. You can't really do that because everybody around you, that's one of the sneaky things about it. Everybody around you thinks it's just fine. That's how they hide it. These are like little tortures. I used to have a castmate who was into little tortures. Some of you know who he is. The only clue you'll ever get is that he's slightly taller than me. But he would harm you in ways others could not see, but it would be physically painful. And if you reacted, everybody would think you had a problem. There are those in the world. They're lovely. Anyways, so handshaking, where they try to squeeze your hand they try to hurt you on purpose. That's one of those things. Because if you're like, hey man, what the hell? You look like the asshole, and then they have a small victory. It's sort of like physical trolling. But stick your index finger out when they're doing that, and that will help alleviate the pressure on that situation. Just saying. You never heard of rolling knuckles? Yeah, no, it's like when you shake someone's hand and they do that business when they're shaking your hands. Yeah. What about using a joy buzzer? I'm a fan, but wearing one all the time, they're not very well made. You get many of them aren't real silver, so you'll get rusty fingers. Anyway, so Trump handshakes are different. He puts his hand under you, and my guess is he's doing this to your palm. Like some creeper in like freshman in high school is like, girls like this. Remember that dude? Anyways, people are like, no, I was that dude. Anyways, so guy comes up, long story short, too late. And shake my hand. Man, we love like Nerd Halen. We got into you guys after, Eddie passed, and we just love that so much. And thank you guys for coming down here or whatever. And he goes, and he grabs me and he pulls me close. And he goes, by the way, I watch your thing on the internet there where you're making fun of our boy Trump like that. And I was like, uh-oh. And he was like, you're doing good stuff or whatever. It could have gone very wrong. And there and at Monsters on the Mountain, because of what I would call like the Ted Nugent influence, there's a section of like what's considered like country blues rock, that crowd that aligned themselves with Trump just because they, and this might shock some people, but they genuinely love the country and want to make America great again. Like they want those things, but they don't recognize that those labels that they use have nothing to do with that actual thing. Like, I would like to make America great again in the sense that we used to have a lot more factories than we do. They got moved overseas. I'd like to move them back. Like that kind of stuff. That kind of greatness, I'm down with. Let's talk. That's cool. But it's just the MAGA, they bought the MAGA sales pitch because of where they are and who they're around. And, it's almost like a sign of community to them. And the same thing with like America First. Like, every other country takes their country first. Why don't we take our country first? That kind of thing. And you're like, well, we do by extending a hand because we're the biggest. That magnanimity in the world allows us to maintain our position. We don't want failed governments in Latin America. We don't want failed governments because ultimately that's how we put America first if you really want it there. So again, that's why these things sometimes gain fans in people where you're like, I don't understand what the hell's wrong with you. Don't you see this as bullshit? Because the names themselves, ring in their head like Coke is life, and they're like, I'm a Coke guy, I don't Pepsi. Ugh. Like, it's the same kind of visceral response. It's the same reason, by the way, that when Stephen King writes a book, he doesn't write lines like, Dave was leaning up against the wall having a soda, eating some chips while this happened. He says, Dave is leaning up against the wall holding a diet Dr. Pepper and eating some Cool Ranch Doritos, and some of the, and lightly licking the dust off his fingers while he asks Carl a question, that kind of thing. Making it specific to the people who like that stuff will create a visceral response. It pulls them in. And that's what, acquiescing a love for the country, genuine patriotism did for a lot of people, because the idea is that because Democrats tend to question the bad things that we have in our past so that we can correct them, that was viewed as not loving the country. In the face of, you don't embarrass the family when company is over. So you don't say things about the country when the rest of the world is watching, because they'll see it as a sign of weakness and they'll attack. That is genuinely the mentality of a big herd of these folks, which means that their belief system is rooted in fear and a certain level of wanton gullibility. They are, they're suckers for a good happy ending. They're suckers for a good story. Right, the Dixie Chicks, exactly. Dixie Chicks drop the Dixie off of their name because of it was giving aid and comfort to the folks that think that is part of American heritage that we should cling to. By the way, you want to talk about how Democrats can seize back some of that stuff, is find a good way to talk about states' rights, and the value of having different, cultural variances in the states and personalities in each state, and each state having its limits on its rights, because the federal government covers, blanket every American. So you should be able to move from state to state without your rights varying state to state, right? That we believe. But but the other point, there can be what would be a cultural style to each state that is valuable and may give birth to an idea that the other states wouldn't do. And there are reasons to talk about why, self-determination internally in a state is a good thing sometimes, but in a democratic way that does not deny the rights of someone who goes, oh shit, now everybody's voted my life out of existence. I have to move because I'm not allowed to be myself anymore. That's the part where the federal government has to have a certain layer of protection so that Americans don't have to have a passport to live in another state. But that's a conversation I think you can have with these folks. Anyway, so back to Monsters on the Mountain. So there's a big swath of aging 80s rockers fans that were incredibly open-minded when I was growing up, but maybe like the hippies became the yuppies, over time became, leaned more kind of country conservative because of where they live, and because, they felt like, again, you're talking shit about the family in front of company. And so New Jersey is the best state. I'm glad you feel so, Laura. I would love you to show me the good parts. Anyways, so a lot of those folks, and in talking to some of them, the fear and gullibility thing was more of a theme than anger, disgust, bigotry, or bitterness. It really was. Like, for those, and now granted, this is a self-selecting sample, because in Gatlinburg, where we were, these are also the people who recognize themselves that while they're walking around Gatlinburg, there's a big group of their fellow Southerners and people around them that are frowning at them for how they look. So they have, whether they like it or not, they have a mild understanding of what minority existence is like. Outsiders often do, in any category. Ask the guys in the band Living Colour about the music scene, in the 80s when they were coming up, and their own musical equals in their own racial group that were like, what the fuck is that? Right? It happens to everybody. And it gives you, it's why the outsiders, the weirdos are the explorers a lot of time, because you don't expect a fine welcome. You bring one. Yeah, Ethan says, I love Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. Okay, so Pigeon Forge, if you've never seen, let's see if I can find a thing of Pigeon Forge. I called it Pigeon Fornicate while I was there. I was just messing around. But if I can bring up, let me see if I can bring up images of it. It is, they call it the Redneck Riviera. They call it a lot of things the Redneck Riviera. But I'll give you an example of how this went. So this is, let me bring this up. Here it is. So this is Pigeon Forge. Like look at this upside down White House. This is the gem mine where you go in the little store and you can sift through sand and find gems in there, and they're just colored rocks and fluorite, shit like that. You can rent cabins that oversee the mountains. There's Dollywood. There's a huge Dollywood. There is a version of the Titanic. It's fucking crazy. That's it. They got their own Mount Rushmore with Elvis and, I guess, I don't know, the Mandrell sisters, and I don't know that, honestly. There's this building that looks like it fell over. It's crazy. Oh, welcome, Wirelight. No, you come in when you come in. Yeah, it's John Wayne. That makes sense. The Hatfields McCoy's dinner show. It is always busy. And again, this is one of those things, and I have to say, when Trump says the country is going to hell, you know how like you can only hide from a lie for so long. Like if you want to believe, you can only bullshit yourself for so long. You know what I mean? And it takes work after a while. And when Trump goes further down the road where he's saying the country's going to hell, man, the country's, this is like I gave him a Southern accent all of a sudden. And, the country's going to hell. It's going to hell. Like he keeps saying this. Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge were fucking packed. People were spending money like crazy. The gas coming in, the gas was going down. The gas price went down during the 2 days I was there. But you can't say the country's going to hell. And while you're in hell, why don't you see enjoy the Ferris wheel, get a cabin, go to the crazy Titanic. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say the country's going to hell and Disneyland was packed. It's so, I wish we could go on a better weekend when there weren't so many people. Natural gas is soaring. We'll get to that in a moment. That's because of LNG. And because we are shifting Europe away from natural gas through gas pipelines, and they're having to build these facilities. We'll get to that. But anyways, when you tell people the country's going to hell, and they're the same people that voted for you, believe you, used to support you, and all that stuff, are going, you know what, we haven't gotten down to Gatlinburg in a while. Thank you, Dark Webster. And they're sitting around eating and stuff. And they can bitch about Biden, but they got to know also, like, they're bitching about Biden from the sitting around a hearth fire near a pool across from a giant version of the Titanic that they want to go to later, but they can't now because the crowd's too big. You can't argue that the world is falling apart if you're participating in its recovery so profoundly. And I wish I'd had more time there. This place is friggin' insane. I like the Ark encounter. It's Hollywood. It is Hollywood quality. Ethan, many of you know that the only way I would move back to Kentucky is if the Ark in northern Kentucky went out of business and I could buy it and live in it as a house. That's my, I only have a couple of dream homes. That's one of them. I just think, I mean, come on. Anyways, so there was so much of this cool, and you drive through Pigeon Forge. They have a comedy bar in there. I don't know that Sexy Liberal should do a show there, but I bet my show would kill. I'm just saying. But it's, and then let me show you Gatlinburg. So this is where we were at Gatlinburg. Hold on. They're going to show you some of Pigeon Forge at the same time. So ignore some of these things. But let me see if I can find. Yeah, they kind of all lean it together. They're technically two different towns. Yeah, they have like these old like Tudor streets. You can take these things up to the top of the hill. There were video game arcades everywhere. It'd be the Sparks encounter. Ha, VV Inc. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah? All right. No, HAL, it's in Grant County. Those people are cuckoo. Well, here's the other thing. Okay. Here's the other thing that lets you know that the country is recovering, and even the people who support Trump and all this stuff. Is that? No. I'll see if I can find the hotel we were in. They got this tower in the middle of town. It's a drop tower. Like you go up and there's like a little ride on it. It wasn't running when we were there, I don't think. Anyways, they had tons of video arcades, like 80s stand-up upright arcades. Awesome. I mean, it was where I went there for like 3 hours when I was trying not to talk on Friday in the middle of the day in between my shows. I went and watched, I had to do a meet and greet photo shoot. And then I went and watched, I went and played games for an hour. And then I came back and I watched Winger's acoustic set, where Paul Taylor and came up there with him, and they did Miles Away together on acoustic and piano, and it was amazing and glorious. And I honestly, God, you guys know I've been a Winger fan my whole life, because I will argue, and I will come at me, bro. Winger is the only danceable progressive rock group in the whole world. They are a prog rock group in the tradition of Rush and Dream Theater and all that. They just hide it in the groove. So, anyways, good people, just lovely, period. I played, they had a Cruisin' USA, which is a driving game. Some people are asking what I was playing. Cruisin' USA, I used to play that with Chris Bono at the Jerry's Deli on Ventura Boulevard. We used to play that. That was our game. We would go eat, dream of a future where we'd actually have a career, and then play Cruisin' USA. And I played Galaga and Miss Pac-Man. They had a Speed Miss Pac-Man, which is fantastic. I have I have an upright video game that some of you know about. I have a Sinistar. I had games added to its board. Yeah. Yes, did I see Winger as in Kip? Yes, Kip Winger, yes. Kip Winger's disc, The Conversation Seems Like a Dream, is amazing. Yeah, the music he wrote after his father passed, where he, went through that, is incredible. And he had to leave early. They did their set on Friday, and he couldn't bring the whole band. He would have done the whole band on Saturday or something like that. I forget what the total thread was, but it was because he had to go back and finish a violin concerto as part of his symphony piece that is going to play with the Tennessee Philharmonic, or the Nashville Philharmonic. Sinistar Rad, the documentary on it is cool. There's a documentary on Sinistar that I'm not in? What the hell? Did I get to talk to him? I have his phone number. We're buddies. Yes, we got to talk at length. We talked, the last time, I gave him a Sparksism the last time I saw him. We were on the Monsters of Rock cruise. We met there. and he did stand up for the first time as part of the punchlines and backlines thing, and he had never seen my stand up before, and he and his girlfriend just loved it, and they were really vociferous in their praise afterwards, just lovely. And so we had a great conversation. Then he and I sang back up with Enough's Enough. We were down there. We sang on Fly High Michelle, which is, again, like parts of I don't fanboy very often, but those are moments where I'm like, check that off on the list. When like 16-year-old HAL would have been going, dude, the whole way back to my room. Oh, yes, Mark, you did see that. Mark was there live. That's right. You need to do a real interview with Kip. I would love to. As a matter of fact, I will make that a priority the next time we're together. Like if I'm in the same city. He lives in Nashville right now. But he and his girl are back and forth to South Carolina or something like that. I'm trying to get him to move to Vegas. I'm trying to like drag everybody. Yeah. Steven, Enough's Enough, amazing power pop, every album a killer. I agree, Steven. And thanks for bringing it up, because Nerd Halen will be opening for Enough's Enough this Friday in San Francisco. So if you're in the San Francisco area, or you know anybody who is, we'll be at Bottom of the Hill on Friday night opening for Enough's Enough. How cool is that? And I may, depending on what shape my voice is in, may get up and sing New Thing with him. With them. Thanks. Thanks, Kathleen. So back to the this place was packed too. Every place we went, there was a Five Guys, there was a line. There was a turkey place across the street where people line for turkey legs, just like Disneyland. Like 6 people in line all day long, even in the heat. It was humid and hot, and yet large families there having a good time. So again, to those people who are there, maybe, just maybe, entertain the idea that the Biden administration is not your enemy and wants more of this for you. I know as a Biden voter and as a Democrat, I certainly do. It's one of the reasons I do Nerd Halen. It sure isn't for the money at this point, but it's the seeing people react when we do Nerd Halen is so wonderful, especially considering the last couple of years, because Nerd Halen was, I feel, a necessary thing to do for the joy of it before COVID hit. That's when we started. We started just before COVID hit, and then it, threw a monkey wrench in. I think we had like 4 dates. We did 4 shows, and then everything shut down. It was a good thing to be doing it before COVID hit. And then when COVID hit, it became even more necessary. And then when Eddie died, it was a stack of things where the awareness that people just need something where they can unplug and have some fun, and to be able to participate in that is a gift for me. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it except that it feels like a gift I just have to like hand to someone else. Like it's just nice to hold it for a second. And then here, this is actually for you. And I just want to watch you unwrap it. It's like watching kids unwrap gifts on Christmas morning. It's what it's like. And it's so nice. It's so nice. And it's like, for the band, we have a lot going on. We have, it's like the Saturday show, we had to fly day of show, which is always dicey. Flights have been canceled all over the place. We were very nervous, but it was the only flight that could get us in even close to on time was later in the day. It's one thing if you can go like, okay, let's get the 5 a.m. flight because we know if that's gone, we can get this flight. No. Every single flight out of Knoxville, whether it left at 7 a.m. or 5, got in after our show would start. And so the only one that got in before left at 3. So if that one 3:30, if it fucked up, and we missed it, show's gone. Yeah, so we're dealing with that during the show day. A lot, like, okay, and then it was delayed an hour, and we're all sweating and oh god, here it goes. And we just done a set 10 at 11 o'clock the night before. 11 to they gave us an extra 15 minutes, so it was an hour and 15-minute show, and which is long, at that late in the day, especially after you've done 2 shows for your lovely sparklers. And so this show was going to be 90 minutes, like an hour and a half. This is solid. How Duran Duran dedicated their song "Ordinary World" in support to the war in Ukraine was wonderful. That's great. I hope you get to see me live someday too, moms. We'll make it happen. Thanks, Maverick, for bookmarking it. Send the bookmark. It won't show up on here, so send it to my Twitter. Tweet it to me if you can. So anyways, we're dealing with that, and it was delayed an hour, so we didn't even get to go to the hotel and shower and clean up before we came there. So we were like, ugh. And luckily they had a steamer back there. I pulled my shirt out and I was like, oh dear. But we had to, every possible technical problem, lay ahead of us. Anything goes wrong, huge monkey wrench. Brenda says, Hal Sparks, your guitarist and Nerd Halen Eddie is fantastic. Yes, that's Caleb Rappaport, and he's fantastic. And Nerd Halen was his brainchild, and he asked me to join because, he knows I want to make people happy. There you go. So anyways, we have a lot on our mind when we roll up to this particular gig. And we have to line check, sound check in front of an open crowd because the place is, it's not like they open doors afterwards. How many plans to come to Philly? We have plans to come to everywhere. It is not currently planned though. So we'll get there, believe me. Once we get East Coast, we're going to tack everything together. Yes, we will definitely do Canada as well. We'll probably do Vancouver the same time we do Seattle. That usually is how that works out. It is harder for bands to travel. They're kind of, I love you, Canada, but you're kind of dicks about it. It's expensive. How, when you shower, do you save water? Yes, I sell it in little packets as miracle spring water. This preacher buys my shower water off me. I don't know how it started, but if you ever see those ads for miracle spring water, that's my shower water. I just, that's just true. I'm not kidding at all. If you ever see those miracle spring water, it's supposed to have healing powers. That comes out of my shower. So, so I save every bit of it because cha-ching, it's my biggest moneymaker. It's the thing that keeps me afloat. So, I feel like you guys just know I love doing this. So when I see you guys in the audience and we know you're there and Patreons and all that kind of stuff, when I get to see you guys in person and I've never seen you before, it is a spectacular joy. And I want you guys to know that in that crowd, because it's rock and it's the kind of rock we do, there are Nugent fans who are, kind of suckered into the whole Trump thing. And after this weekend, you guys know I always feel that my gift of gab is all powerful. But after this weekend, I really do feel like I could talk some of those folks off the ledge. I know Portland's been wiped off the planet, but it'd be cool to see you. Yeah, we're planning on playing Portland Crater sometime in the near future. If Antifa will let us. We of course have to, we all have to give them, apparently you have to give them your pronouns ahead of time. And if you change your pronouns, they need 30 days to change the menu. So, I love you, but keep your shower water. Thanks very much. Yeah, 1,000 folks here in the chat room. Bless you guys for coming here. This is the HAL SPARKS Mornings Mega Worldwide. It's a offshoot show for us to get a little more chit-chatty and explore the world of of trends. Now, later on today, this afternoon show will more than likely be a long one because I am going to, if I can find a whole version of it, if CSL and I can find a whole version of it that I can either download or so I can stop and start it. The Lindell movie that they debuted on. I love anti-fascists. Yes, they're the most fun because they get really confused and start punching themselves in the face. Why are you here? I'm fighting because these guys want us to do only what they want us to do. Can I do something else? No, I'll kick your ass. All right, this is fun. Thanks, Blues Lovin'. So I really do feel like there's a nerve to work with these folks. Because the most Trumpy guy I talked to all weekend, and I ran into a couple that are clearly that way. I ran into a couple guys where one of the guys in the band, one of the original guys, supposedly, is a right winger, fell down the Q hole or whatever. Just free time and a drug-addled brain will do that to you. I have plenty of soup. Don't worry. So for Antifa, I'd just be I'll be the Campbell soup guy for them. So there are a few that where the rest of the band watches the stream, and to those folks, hi. I will not out anybody. It's so I really feel like I'm threading a needle because I don't want anybody who watches the show regularly to get like into a shouting match with anybody else they hang around. But if you introduce them to my show, at some point, they're going to get irritated right away because they're going to have a lot of assumptions. But at some point, I have to believe, unless they're just too far gone, they're going to recognize that I mean them no harm, and above and beyond that, I mean them well. I want your life to be good. I want everybody in this country that I can, that within the control point that I have as a voice around politics, I want everybody to have enough extra money in their politics, in their pocket, that they can avoid politics for a while, go to a show, enjoy it, and buy a t-shirt. So, how's the gateway drug to kumbaya? Right. That would be the biggest challenge, just because, like I said, I don't know how much reason is still present, but I bet you I could talk Mike Pillow down if I had enough time. Because I feel like, as somebody who, while I would not describe myself as a Christian currently in the traditional form, believe in the importance of its existence for a lot of people, and also am not hostile to its existence, and therefore, having read the Bible twice, gone to fucking church camp 4 years in a row when I was a kid, I can speak the language. Hal, I'm driving to Vegas from San Diego right now. Well, be safe and get here safely and enjoy yourself when you do. I don't know. I'm smoking my own stash, but I really do. Can you talk to my niece, please? Very possibly. It depends on where. So, let's get to the trends and kind of have somewhat of a normal show. And then in the next hour, but before I do that, in the tail end of this, I want to thank Jet and especially and Andrea and everybody who came, and thank you for the mug. And the Jet who drove us around we have never been that well taken care of as a band ever. He was so helpful and great, and apparently watches the show. So, hi Jet, thanks very much. Appreciate you. and he gave me a little gift box because I guess he doesn't super chat or any of that stuff, so he wanted to gift in person. So he gave these to take care of the cats. Wheelies and soft spots. I'm excited to try them. Jet, as in Jet, not Chet, which I didn't do it. Anyways, oh, there he is. Yeah, he's in the chat. Hey, Jet. Ladies and gentlemen, Jet, ladies and gentlemen. Gave us these for the cats. I will report back to see which cats like them the most. Some headphones, which I will lock up to this computer, and if they time right to the clips, sometimes the skull candies can be a little bit laggy when it comes to that. I will use them for the show, and then I will be wireless, and I won't have to worry about yanking the stuff off my desk when I'm chasing a cat. That's lovely. You guys know what I'm going to do with this, and it won't be pretty. Appreciate you. And then, of course, when I saw this in the box, I thought it was one of those the target buttons, or what are the yes buttons or the no buttons that they have in Office Depot, but it's a bullshit button. And bullshit level DEFCON 5. So, and oh, come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit. So, I appreciate it. It'll get fair use. I'm going to at some point. Warning, bullshit alert. It might be too much to use them both at the same time, but I will rotate them through with as best I can. I feel like if I had a painted green screen wall, I could just mount it here and just spack. Just every so often, I use it so often I'd know where it was and just bang. B has one of those. That's excellent. Well, we'll try and work that in. So thank you guys so much for the love and support and the fun, and it was a great weekend. And I am definitely speaking almost an entire octave lower. I sound, and this is my most like Harrison Ford I can sound. I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go along. Belloc. See what I mean? Hello, Alan from Ireland. Bless you. And anytime somebody from the Ireland contingent pops in, I'm equal parts Irish and Scottish. We have a moment for Dave Allen, God's own comedian, and the greatness of his show. Now I have the theme song to Dave Allen at Large going through my head. We'll wait till it finishes. All right, now it's done. Okay. Well, if you're half Irish, it's the good half. It's good. I love that show. I used to watch it on public television. If I had my dream show as a comedian, that's it. Hal Sparks at Large. Good night, and may your God go with you. Absolutely. Man was an atheist and ended his show with good night, and may your God go with you. Like, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Okay, so let's take a look at the trends and pretend that I haven't just totally, like, I'll be able to avoid tears. That's because I will weep tears of joy. I got close earlier, and I was avoiding them. So there you go. Coffee's going up. Should I buy coffee commodities, PHK? Heads up to any fellow coffee addicts. Prices are going up due to bad crops, drought. Stock up now before the prices spike. Yeah, you can freeze coffee and it's fine. The best fiddlers are from Ireland. I agree. I totally agree. I saw Hal Roach perform in Dublin. So good. I miss Tears of Joy. You'll see more of them, trust me. But wait till I have like angel hair today. Like not actual angels, I mean the band. Thank you, Alan. I'm proud to be. It's my island. Also, I believe, whether you do it well or not, if you do a 23andMe and you discover you have a big chunk of some particular group in your past, you are allowed to use their accent at will. I have enough Irish in me that I could just be, I could speak with an Irish accent all day long. And if that's how I feel like doing it, then that's what I do. Sorry. And I can be as good or as bad as I wanted to. Just going to do it. So if I decide to work on it, just speak with an Irish accent for a year, that's my business. Yeah, Braveheart. It's my island. I own it. I do cast the Darth Vader shadow today, right? I got a cloak on. So let's take a look. I called today's show Monsters on the Mondays because of Monsters on the Mountain that I had just done. The funny thing about it for me is that when I went to look at the trends just now, the two top things are The Rings of Power and House of Dragon airing on HBO, and it says live. What? Who's that? Who? What? What do you mean live? It's supposed to be at night? What are you running all of them? I mean, yeah, okay, it went away. Look, it goes yesterday. That live just went away. Someone went, oops. That's how much power I have. You guys saw it. It disappeared while I was complaining. It's like the only other thing I feel like I can take credit for a few things like maggots and that phrase floating around. You know, one of the little subtle things I did that I take great pride in is I bought the Kubrick on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on iTunes. I bought the entire Kubrick film block. And if you've done that, oh good, Steely Dan, you'll love it. You will love watching Dave Allen Large. I bought all the Kubrick movies. They were selling them as a block, like as a Criterion thing. And in it, I already obviously had Doctor Strangelove. I'd owned it for a while or whatever, but they had a remastered version. Okay, fine. I have 2 copies of it in my iTunes, right? But I got all of them. And one of them, of course, is Lolita. And when all these movies populated, they didn't go into, there's no subcategory of Kubrick movies. They put them in each category. So The Shining went into horror and, like Doctor Strangelove went into comedy. Lolita went into romance. Yeah. Lolita went into romance. And I was like, what the fuck is that? I was shocked. I was like, fuck, what? Get out of here. And so I started tweeting about it. You know, it's a while back. This is years ago, beginning of Twitter. And I was like, I even made a Facebook post about it on my private page, which, was your public page before you could get, it was a big pain in the ass. It used to be a big thing where, like, if you wanted to move your if you built up your account as a private page and you had too many friends, you couldn't move the people except one time. You could move them all to a professional page. And then and they're like, you sure you want to do that? It was so stupid. Anyways, so on my old, homepage at Facebook, I was like, get the fuck out of here. What? Why? Who did this? Someone went, yeah, it's insane. What are you talking about? And they moved it to drama within the week. I looked again later in the week and it was gone. And I was like, oh my God, did they just take it off the thing? Nope. Moved it to drama where it belongs. Yeah, I could use a break from the evening news. Instant connectivity is creating a toxic buildup of fear, knee-jerk reactions that prevent people from thinking clearly and researching to determine if panic is indicated. Pam, that is why I'm here. Because I feel like that's my job, is to be between you and the panic button when it comes to news. Yeah. You just watched 47 Ronin. I own that one as well. I love that movie. Here's the thing. I love Keanu Reeves even when his acting is horrible. because he's such a good guy, I let it slide. I like him so much as a human being that I'll even watch, him in Dracula, or those movies where I'm speaking with a Southern accent. Like, if I bob my head, it'll sound more Southern. It's pretty terrible, but I love the guy, so I don't care. I just don't care. And he's getting better. He's getting better. And I guarantee the interesting thing about Keanu Reeves is all of his real acting, all like that isn't like Bill and Ted kind of just being yourself and saying the words. Dude, right, that's fine. That's him as a young person. All of his great acting, I predict, will happen when he's old. Like old man Keanu Reeves, which it will happen to us all, will be like, oh my God, have you seen the depth that Keanu Reeves is showing in this thing? Isn't it wonderful to see him be able to display his humanity in his acting? It's going to happen because we're not having an industry without Keanu Reeves anytime soon. And I love all three of the John Wicks. You want to build a bridge with a Trumper, and they think you're yeah, you just walk up to him and go, I voted for Biden. I love what the guy's doing. Have you seen John Wick? And then their brain will go, psst, and they'll go, yeah. Like, I love it. The third one was just friggin' amazing with the dogs and all that kind of stuff. Have you watched Old Man? It's fantastic. They'll go, zzz, 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 zzz. I'm supposed to, they'll freak out. I thought you were supposed to be one of these put flowers in gun barrels people. I'm like, well, yeah, if it'll work. If there are people on my side pointing guns at me, that's where that happens. I'm not going to do it with somebody who is robbing me, you dick fuck. What the hell? Just want to go, hey, what's happening, man? Just run those three lines in their head. Yeah, and then add and then turn around or whatever the show is, and you go, free bird. Anyways, don't you love the infrastructure bill, man? It's going to be doing some cool shit. I mean, traffic's a bitch, but you'd rather have that than a broken bridge. Am I right? Give me a high five. Anyways, America first. Bang. Like, what? just zzz, and then they just fry and fall over. Do you think he'll ever be Al Pacino? No, Al Pacino is too busy being Al Pacino. There's a line to be Al Pacino, and Al Pacino is in it. Hoo-ha. Oh, I'm going to have you a job, shithead. I got a wife. Keeps me sharp. I got him. All right. So, all right. So that these are, Elaine Chao is trending. I'm guessing largely because, oh boy, Trump's rambling statements. He's sending statements out. By the way, before we jump into this, because I guarantee this is in reaction to Trump's statement about her. I saw it already. And he made her transportation secretary. So what? Hashtag the best people. All right, let's see. Yeah, look, even everybody's onto this. I will hire the best people. Anthony Scaramucci fired. Ryan Spears fired. Sean Spicer quit. Walter Shaw quit. Mike Dubkey quit. Everybody's just out. Trump slams McConnell wife Elaine Chao after candidate quality comments. Again, Mitch McConnell is conniving and gross, but he's not stupid. The fact that he became the majority leader and is the leader of the party, and he's from Kentucky, is sort of ridiculous anyways. I mean, go check and see how many taxes or industry points that Kentucky contributes to the rest of the fucking country. Anybody who says that money controls politics because blah blah blah, one of the gaps in that argument is Kentucky. Sorry. He's gross and he's, a conniver, but that's... Trump accuses crazy former Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao of trying to get rich on China. Didn't he say in China though? Like I want to see. Okay, see if we can find a copy of somebody who's got to put his stupid statement up. And yeah, and like hey liberals, Elaine Chao is Mitch McConnell's wife, Prophet. Yeah, we know that. By the way, this is a popcorn moment. Yeah, she's going to be testifying to January 6th. Yeah, or she may have already. That's both are big lists, so easy. Where's the? I want to see if somebody posted. Yeah, here he goes. So National Review will have the whole statement because they still love the dude. Trump calls McConnell a broken down hack over midterm predictions. While and by the way, National Review is supposedly on Trump's side, so it was nice of them to not pick a picture of him that makes him look like a broken down hack mega church preacher, which is effectively, by the way, Trump has Benny Hinn hair. That's not an accident. All right. Where's the... Why do Republican senators allow a broken down hack politician, Mitch McConnell, to openly disparage hardworking Republican candidates for the United States Senate? Well, maybe they shouldn't have to work so hard in states where they should be a shoo-in. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the issue, is that these are states where it should be, they should glide into that fucking thing, and now they're having to work hard, dummy. And why are they having to work hard? Because you've convinced everyone that voting is a mistake and that the machines are evil and that you're going to get cheated, so why bother? This is such an affront to honor and to leadership. Okay. It's an affront to the very concepts of honor and leadership. He's attacking honor and leadership by saying something that is verifiably true to your party to prepare them for losses that look like they're coming, which I hate to say this about Mitch McConnell, but is by definition an honorable thing to do and indicative of leadership. I don't think he's doing it for the right reasons. Telling your troops the truth when they're about to lose a battle because they're going up against odds they are ill-equipped to fight. Yeah, boo fuckity who, dummy. He should spend more time and money. Asshole, you ate all the money. Helping them get elected and less time helping his crazy wife and family get rich on China. He's crazy. What makes her crazy? What? He hired her. What? Again, like, wouldn't there be better... Okay, putting aside that Trump thinks women are nuts, let's just put that there. That something about Trump in his upbringing, in his relationships with women throughout his life, is that his misogyny is based on women are nuts, dude. That clearly that is a part of his mental disease around interacting with women. But like, yeah, I agree, Hilly. I don't know that he can't, like, hating women is too basic a conversation to have, because he obviously is enamored of his own daughter and thinks she's the smartest one even of his boys, and wants her to succeed. So it's not quite the same thing. And it's always been the misogynist's, backup argument is like, how can I be a misogynist? I love my mom. It's stupid, but that's where that'll land. What I will say is that his pathology around his interactions with women in general is that even when they're smart or qualified or capable, they're women, so they're nuts. That seems to be, because that's why he throws in, like, crooked Hillary was crazy Hillary a few times. He does this a lot with women. Very seldom are guys crazy. in his right. It'll slip out occasionally because he's got a limited vocabulary. But most of the people he's calling, cuckoo or crazy or whatever are women, because he does not understand he can't communicate well with anybody. Let's be honest. The man doesn't have any friends. But when it comes to women, he's even more right. Crazy Nancy Pelosi. Exactly. Yeah. And the more capable they are, it's like they're going to spring a trap on them because they're all nuts. Every woman is Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction and Waiting. I honestly, don't you think he sexualizes every woman? Not every woman. Unless you count, you can sexualize women also by dismissing them as sexual objects too. You can have a no category and still technically sexualizing them. It gives them worth based on whether they're worth fucking or not. So yes, I would agree. I think there's a way of saying that. Crazy AOC, absolutely. He's afraid of women, especially strong women. He's afraid of anybody smarter than himself. So again, if you really want to understand and you have to really understand someone to get under their skin. You can't, if you blanket, categorize them. It's why when people call him a narcissist, I'm like, that's not enough. It's more, his narcissism is a faux braggadocio that is based on his low self-esteem. There's no way you look like Trump and pass a window and go, hey, look at that guy. Hey, it's just, at some point, especially if you're aging. You might have been able to bullshit yourself when you were young because you were rich and that kind of stuff. There's no fucking way that he believes his own bullshit about his own attractiveness. That's why, look, even Carrie Lake saying he has animal magnetism and BDE, remember that shit? That's her way of saying, yeah, he's ugly, but... That's how she gets around it. He's ugly, but he's got animal magnetism without saying it, without saying outwardly. Carrie Lake called him ugly last week. That's what that was. That's how you call a man ugly. That's how beautiful women marry a rich older man and convince themselves that they're doing it for real reasons. He's got animal magnetism. That's it, honestly. That's why she said that. Because nobody buys his bullshit about him being handsome ever. Right? That's right. He's charming. That's how you do it. And I have to say, I like how I look, but at no point in my life have I ever gone, what's up? Into a mirror. That's just ridiculous. That's what a narcissist would do. And if there is no way that, yes, I have animal magnetism, but it's like a cute animal you want to pet. I have cat magnetism. Oh, like wet cat magnetism. Bring him inside. He's gonna freeze, right? That's it. So there's no way he bullshits himself about it. He's just comfortable lying to himself about that stuff. And that's what she's saying. She called him fat last week. Carrie Lake called Trump fat last week. And by the way, if you want to get under his skin and you want to bug Carrie Lake, find her tweet about that and respond to it by going, by the way, just to clarify, translation, Carrie Lake is calling Trump fat. She knows she's saying he's ugly, but excusing why she hangs out with him as an attractive woman. That's what she's doing. That's psychologically, that's what she's the woman who's running for governor in KARI. Or rumor, thanks. He doesn't think he's hot. He thinks money buys everything and women are for sale. I'm telling you. So anyways, watching his own reaction to himself and his being honest about his health a couple of times and about his brain a couple of times. Yes, Carrie Lake is crazy. Thank you, Sylvia. That's very sweet. I appreciate it. And if come on, that's not what should have set off the button the first time. Golly. I try to be, and that's the thing. Sexiness is often about effort, not about natural physical appeal, I will say. Because there are some very beautiful women, for example, that I don't find sexy. I can see for all the world that they are absolutely gorgeous, but I just don't find them sexy. That's a reality, right? And we're all lucky that you can make up for some of those deficits by being, Carrie Lake is spelled with a Q. That's great, Dragonflyer. So anyways, he absolutely does not have a narcissistic personality disorder, unless you're talking about it being a compensatory attitude. He thinks his narcissism is not based on his looks or his magnetism or his belief about that. It simply is born rich, and there are two types of... He is, for better or worse, Jeff Goldblum's character in Deep Cover. There's no more races in the world. There's rich people and there's poor people. You and I are both rich, so we're on the same side. And that's why he can hang out with some people when people are like, he's a racist. Well, he didn't mind Kim Jong-un. He snuggles up to him and they wrote love letters to each other. You don't understand. His race is rich people. That's it. Steely Dan, yes. Deep Cover is a fantastic movie. And Goldblum is fantastic in it. And by the way, if you listen to the 01 record, which I highly recommend, at the end of the first song, you'll hear a voice saying, I want my cake and eat it too. I want my cake and eat it too. And I added that to the end of the song. I wanted to use Jeff Goldblum's voice doing it, but I was afraid I would get hit with a copyright strike. So I said it myself, tried to recreate his cadence as much as I could. But I've never seen anyone do a repeated line in a script naturally. Oh, thanks, Stephen. I love Goldmine. That's that's about the space between my ears in some ways. And my friend who I wanted to write songs with, and the space between his ears and all the stuff. That's long. Anyways, so that phrase at the end, he's sitting there. His wife says, "Why can't we've got plenty? You've got a family who loves you. Why do you have to keep doing this? We don't need this." And he goes, "I want my cake and eat it too. I want my cake and eat it too." And he says it twice, and it's written in the script twice. And anytime and poetically people write lines twice, and no one talks like that. In real life, no one talks like that. It's really aggravating. It is such prosaic nonsense when people put that in a script. Or at least I thought so until that movie. There are a few lines that people repeat over and over. It's like it's the same thing with like not saying goodbye on the phone when people hang up in movies and TV shows. You got it. Click. You guys, but you guys know I do like Midwestern goodbyes on my show all the time. So I'd be like, we've got it. The killer's in the. Oops, I hit something. There you go. I hit my keyboard with the phone. Jameson, yes, the killer's in the building. We got to find some way. Yes, we'll both be we'll be there in 10 minutes. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. What are you doing? It's hot here. It is hot here, but I'm all right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Bye. Okay. Bye-bye. Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yeah. No, we're driving. Yeah. Bye. It's what? Traffic's bad? We should do you have two motorcycles or just? I don't feel like riding on the back. We're a motorcycle, but we only have one helmet. Okay, we'll drive. We'll take the car. No, No, I'll just GPS it. Send me the address. But don't put any other text in the tweet, or in the text rather, because it's harder to isolate when, because if you have to copy it, put it in notes, Okay, all right, bye-bye. Okay. What? A sidecar? How long would it take to put on? Well, then we'd be as wide as a car anyways. Hold on one second. We'd be on, I don't know. I can't fucking, when people are like, 10 minutes, bang, I'm like, bullshit. No, you hang up first. So, that's why Elaine Chao is trending. Boy, was that a long route. Holy shit. Okay, let's go back to our trends. Thanks, Hilly. Yeah, those are my. I love having my Bob Newhart moments with you guys. Thanks, Randall. I just yes and myself. 30 minutes away, I'll be there in 10. Totally. Okay, Wuhan. This is definitely going to be the Wuhan Open, the official Twitter of the WTA Wuhan Open, held every September since 2014. See you again in 2021. Nah. Visit Wuhan. Pass. Funny, right before Republicans are likely to take control and bring him before Congress. How convenient. Shake my head. Oh, because Anthony Fauci is stepping down. New Fauci Wuhan grant was under FBI investigation. Oh. FBI was investigating Fauci's agency over its gain of function Wuhan grant. Did they raid Fauci's home too? Uh-huh. They weren't questioning his side of it, dummy. Night in Wuhan. Yeah. Everybody's got their lights on because they're trapped inside. Steve, Fauci is demonic. Fauci, preserve your documents. Baby, a lot of folks coming for you hard, dude. Easy. Everything you've done to this country, every lie, what you did at CCP, what you did in Wuhan, it's all coming out, or whatever. Fauci's stepping down because he's 100. Texas lab. Fauci's Texas lab signed a confidential deal with Wuhan colleagues enabling destroying of stuff. Okay, is this the grant he's talking? And why is it Fauci's Texas lab? How many want to bet that it's not Fauci's Texas lab? Let's see. The National Pulse revealed Fauci's Texas labs. Okay. The Galveston National Laboratory. Go away. No. How much? No news. Go away. Stop selling shit. The Galveston National Laboratory, a project of Anthony Fauci's National Institute of Anthony Fauci's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. That's America's project, you dipshit. Entered into a memorandum of understanding with the Wuhan Institute of Virology, granting the Chinese lab the right to make its American counterpart, the Galveston folks, get your file, destroy and or return the secret files, materials, and equipment without any backups. And that's in quotes. Is that quotes from the memorandum? In the memo, it said, destroy and or return the secret files, materials, and equipment without any backups. The National Pulse has previously unearthed the Texas-based lab's multi-year collaborative relationship with the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The Texas-based labs, multi-year. Oh boy, relationship with the Wuhan Institute of Virology, including hosting exchange programs and training researchers at the lab's biosafety level 4 facility at the biosafety level 4. Directors from the Wuhan lab and the Galveston National Laboratory, which describes itself as constructed under grants awarded by Fauci's. Yeah, they put Fauci's in there. What the fuck are you talking about? The National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease is an American program. The fuck is wrong with you? Has admitted to working with the world's most dangerous pathogens in 2018. Motherfucker, that's all they do. What do you think the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases does? It's like, you guys said it would just be chicken pox. What the hell? What are you, how? Are you fucking stupid? Dude, the 3 of the last worst outbreaks came out of China. Of course, the rest of the world is going to work with them to try to tamp this shit down. Much of the world's most dangerous pathogen. Well, it's hard to argue for a big grant, a big Texas-sized grant to build a giant fucking facility down here. If you're not working with the most, what kind of pathogens you work on? Pretty pedestrian ones, you know what I mean? We're trying to eradicate the sniffles. The what? Sniffles. Obviously the sniffles comes as a body's reaction to the. We found one way of eliminating the sniffles, and that's wipe out all life on Earth that has a sniffling mechanism where you can do that action. Anybody who can do that with that, we scrapped that one pretty early in the first 2 years. But the news comes amidst controversies over Anthony Fauci's role in funding bat coronavirus research, but you're trying to wipe it out, all right. A relationship that newfound documents appear to show extends beyond American partners like Peter Daszak's EcoHealth Alliance. Fuck Peter Daszak and his sketchy bullshit. The lab is also believed to be the source of COVID-19, according to many public health and intelligence experts. Right, but they didn't make it there to release it. This is the whole, it's not, we don't mean as a bioweapon, but we do mean as a bioweapon. Fucking hell. Let me explain to you as someone who's been to China multiple times. It is horrifying as it might be to even consider, completely reasonable to believe that animals used in biological testing at that laboratory were later, after they were euthanized, sold to someone at a meat market as specialty meats that you can get a high price for. Totally reasonable. That kind of corruption in China is endemic. It's fucking everywhere. There's no situation, I'm telling you, where one of the lower level lab techs, even the high level lab techs, they don't get paid that much, or any of the cleaning crew or any of them wouldn't go, God damn, they're throwing these things out. They're selling bat meat over here at a really high, dude, I can get you maybe 15 bats a month if you're cool. I mean, that kind of shit happens all the time. That is why countries across the world have been working more with these labs on security than anything else. Most of our grants to China have to do with lab security because it is the biggest problem there. Because there's a lot of scientists working there who are just trying to find cures for diseases because they live in a highly populated country where people are packed in close. And so any kind of pathogen could spread through the country and wipe out, thousands, if not millions of people. By the way, there is no way in hell that fewer than 20 million people have died from COVID in China, period. No way in hell. It's no country in the world would have zero COVID policy if it hadn't wiped out a massive percentage of people. Yeah, free meat is free meat. Yeah, that's basically it. And by the way, this isn't about starvation, Sishui. They're not bringing the stuff they're bringing out of that lab to sell is not, cheap chicken. I'm telling you, it's high-priced specialty animals that they're testing on. Bat soup is smooth like Jagger. There you go. Anyway, so in addition to private emails from Fauci obtained by the National Pulse and new internet documents obtained by the government watchdog group U.S. Right to Know, confirm the existence of a program and provide more insight into the agreement between the two labs. The Texas lab, which why is this not Texas's fucking problem? Why is Abbott not on the hook? If the point from Fauci was to bounce grants through American company, hold on one second. Shit, now I got to look something up, and we're already into show part 2. Okay. What labs in U.S. built by grants from USAID? No. Institute. NIAID. Okay. Let's see. National Institute of Writing Consulting BDO has access to resources, successfully secure and manage federal funds. Funds new. Okay, this is 2003. Let's go back to 2003, shall we? Okay, this is from federal health officials yesterday announced grants to build 11 new biodefense laboratories around the country, including 2 that will be authorized to study the most dangerous pathogens. 2. Boston University Medical Center, University of Texas Medical Branch at Galveston, that's where that one is. Each will receive about $120 million to build biosafety level 4 labs, which can handle the deadliest agents. Okay, so why is, if the whole purpose for Fauci to do was to create weaponizable agents and release them into the world and be part of this blah, 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 why isn't Boston on the fucking hook? Oh, because Boston's run by Democrats. What? The National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, announced calls the 2 projects National Biocontainment Laboratories, NBLs. In addition, the agency announced grants of between $7 million and $21 million each for 9 regional biocontainment laboratories, which will include BSL-3 and BSL-2 space, which, by the way, are not the top level. They don't have anthrax at them, that kind of shit. But they will have the facilities and ability to contain things like that if they have an outbreak. Those facilities will be at Colorado State University, Fort Collins, Duke, Durham, Tulane, the University of Alabama, University of Chicago, Argonne, Illinois, the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey, in case tartar grows out of control, and there's this giant tartar 19, tartar 22. It makes everyone's teeth yellow, and then your teeth freeze together. University of Pittsburgh, University of Tennessee, Memphis. In a news release, Health and Human Services Secretary Tommy Thompson called the lab grants a major step towards being able to provide Americans with effective therapies, vaccines, and diagnostics for diseases caused by agents of bioterror, as well as for naturally occurring emerging infections such as SARS, which is, anybody want to guess what COVID-19 causes? SARS-CoV-2. That's the name that we use for the disease that you get from COVID-19. COVID-19 is the virus that causes SARS-CoV-2 and West Nile virus. The 2 NBLs will join only 3 BSL-4 labs currently operating in the United States. There are already 3 more of them. U.S. Army Medical Research Facility of Infectious Diseases at Fort Derrick. The Southwest Foundation of Biomedical Research in San Antonio. Texas sure as shit has a lot of BSL-4 labs. COVID is a type of disease. That's why, by the way, why do you think it's called 19? Because it came out in 2019. It was discovered in 2019. It is from 2019. It's COVID-19. That's why there'll be a COVID-24 and a COVID-27 and whatever. And there'll be a COVID-31 and shit like that. We'll just get better at treating them. And hopefully by the time the mRNA vaccines are built, we'll be able to, tamp them out really fucking early. It's a categorization process. It's a type of virus. Jesus Christ, these people are fucking stupid. The lab grants stem from a recommendation by a committee outside experts who advised the NIAID. Wait a minute. When did outside experts who advised NIAID on its biodefense research plans in February 2002, the group listed the shortage of BSL-3 and BSL-4 labs as a significant barrier to progress. Rona Hirschberg said it will take from NIAID, said it will take the better part of 5 years to get the 2 national biosafety labs up and running. The first of the regional labs should be ready in about 3 years, she told SIDRAP News. Everybody should be pushing as hard as they can because we really need them. It will complement and support the research conducted at the NIAID, designated regional centers of excellence for biodefense and emerging infectious diseases. Again, the way you put America first is you make sure you have plenty of these fucking things if you want us to, like actually survive this kind of shit. So stupid. Let's see what the Fauci emails look like, shall we? We want to look at those? Exclusive. New Fauci email proves he funded lab training for Wuhan's most deadly lab. Please pay for this shit. No. New Anthony email, national polls about today. Now, let's see. Biosafety lab for handle agents that can be aerosol transmitted or cause severe fatal disease in humans. Yeah, we're trying. Yeah, we want those controlled. I'm just saying for the record. Anybody else want those controlled? Whew. The news follows yesterday's revelation that Fauci lauded Xi Jinping awards for U.S. researchers. Yeah, when did he do that? And unseen emails. Fauci congratulates Wuhan collaborator on deserved Xi Jinping award. Yet more. Hold on. God damn, these assholes. Just say it. Yet more Fauci emails shed light on the closeness of the CCP of U.S. healthcare officials. Jesus Christ, we had the last few infectious diseases came out of China. Of course you want people on the front lines. And you have to kiss the Chinese government's ass to even get on site. It's just like Russia. I love how the people who love that Kim Jong, like kissing Kim Jong-un's ass like Trump did, they were like, this is how you do it. This is how you stop war. Well, the same thing would be true of stopping infectious disease. Fuck. Okay. Obtained exclusively by the National Pulse. Revealed the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease Director congratulated epidemiologist Dr. Ian Lipkin, a key Wuhan Institute of Virology collaborator, on receiving personal awards from Xi Jinping. Lipkin, a Columbia University professor, received the China International Science and Technology Cooperation Award. Fucking hell. Yeah. From the regime chief Xi in 2016 before going on to claim another award from them in the China's central government, Central Military Commission, and State Council. 2016 award is the Chinese Communist Party's CCP's top science honor for foreign scientists, and as quoted in Columbia press release, Lipkin remarked that it solidifies my relationship with dear friends and colleagues in the Chinese Academy of Science, Ministry of Science and Technology, and the Ministry of Health, all of which are wholly owned and operated Chinese Communist Party entities. Yes, we know. That's how the government works over there. Dipshit. In 2020, he commented, it's a great honor to receive this medal. By the way, in 2020, Trump was like, Xi Jinping, we're working, I know him very well, he's very smart, we're working very hard together, he's handling the disease very professionally. What the fuck? Why don't you post that right next to it? And also, how do you get into China and into those labs if you're adversarial at all? You can't. If you're like, these fuckers, man, I don't trust them, as far as I could throw them, but we got to take a look inside that lab. No. What do you think exactly happened after we shut off ties with China over this? You think we're seeing anything inside those labs except by spy work now? For fuck's sake. The Chinese people are good and wonderful people, but the government is fucked. And and because of face and because of ego, you have to kiss their ass to go anywhere near this stuff. So of course you have to go, thanks very much, this is lovely, it's great, or whatever. Now can I see inside the lab, please? Fucking hell. I will cherish as a reminder, my dear friends and colleagues. Yes, because the people there are lovely. The lab technicians he worked with are probably good and decent people who are working around the fucking first. All right, hold on. Let me show you something. This is, and this story, fucking heartbreaking. This is, from updated, this is February 7th of 2020. Li Wenjiang, beg your pardon. Li Wenjiang, Li Wenjiang. I'm thinking it literally, I know, Li Wenjiang. Li Wenliang, the doctor that discovered COVID-19 in China. This is from February 7th, 2020. February 7th, 2020. This is this guy right here. He died. He was trying to tell people about this. The authorities brought him in for questioning. He caught it. He was dead. Wuhan, China. He was the doctor who tried to sound a warning about a troubling cluster of viral infections in a Chinese province growing out of control, and was then summoned for a middle-of-the-night reprimand over his candor. On Friday, the Dr. Li Wenliang died after contracting the very illness he told medical school classmates about in an online chat room, the coronavirus. He joined more than 600 other Chinese who have died in an outbreak that is now spread across the globe. 600. Dr. Li had the misfortune to be infected during the fight against the novel coronavirus pneumonia epidemic, and all-out efforts to save him failed, the Wuhan City Central Hospital said on Weibo, the Chinese social media service. We express our deep regret and condolences. Even before his death, Dr. Li had become a hero to many Chinese after word of his treatment at the hands of the authorities emerged. In early January, he was called in by both medical officials and the police and forced to sign a statement denouncing his warnings as unfounded and illegal rumor. Do you understand that the doctor that Lipkin is talking about, the guys Lipkin are talking about, are people like Li Wenliang? He's like, I love and admire these folks. And those people have been shut down, disappeared, or are dead now. The people that Lipkin was talking about have met a Russian end, more than likely. It's fucking gross. So to shit on Lipkin for saying, I appreciate the people that I work with over there. These are the people he's talking about. People like Li Wenliang. Li Wenliang is a hero for the earth, for all time. Dr. Li, if he hadn't given that heads up and died for it, millions more people would be dead. If he hadn't, in the face of culturally what was regular, like a regular occurrence over there, which is don't bring shit up if it's going to be embarrassing, whatever. You got to get clearance to talk about this shit. He didn't get clearance and he died for it. And Dr. Li, because he did that, the world had more warning because it got out before they could shut it down. The worry that he had about it, the warning. And so, the NIH and the NIAID and the CDC in the United States, that's what told everybody, like, uh-oh, this is serious. And the fact that the Chinese government shut him down and said, don't talk about this, that in and of itself was a secondary warning. Li Wenliang's boldness and his sacrifice of his life is why I love the Chinese people and currently fucking hate their government. Because do I really think he got COVID and died from it? No, I do not. When Xi Jinping's only political buddy on the world stage right now is Vladimir Putin, no, I do not. So when Lipkin is saying the people at the virology center who are good, they're people like him. So getting an award from the CCP and not saying, I thank the Chinese government for this, blah, 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 but go like, the people I worked with, it's a great honor to receive this medal. I will cherish it as a reminder of my dear friends and colleagues in China and all we have accomplished together for the health of the Chinese people and people all around the world. This is an earnest human being getting an award from the government, which, by the way, for all practical purposes, is more CCP propaganda bullshit. But when he received it, because he knew you have to play along with their game to even have access to those labs and to those people and to get the information out, and that not getting the information out and working with these people and trying to tamp down infections that are there on site, if you lose that ability, millions of people will die within China, much less outside in the rest of the world. So Lipkin getting this award from the Chinese government and using it to thank the people he worked with in the lab, effectively trying to put a name check barrier around them, because people will, in the industry, in the government, and in the world will know who those people were working at the lab in an attempt to go, okay, these are the people that worked with Lipkin on the team, and if they disappear or die all of a sudden, people will become very suspect because he brought them up when we gave him this medal, and he was supposed to go, I thank the Chinese Communist Party for this lovely fucking hell. The latter award came days just before Communist China told the world of the human-to-human transmission of the then novel coronavirus, which came to be known as COVID-19. Gee, I wonder why. As the virus spread, Dr. Lipkin became one of the most frequent media talking heads on the subject. Lauded by the New York Times in 2010, Lipkin's work in covering for his Chinese communist friends, look at this shit, became apparent just days after the World Health Organization declared it a pandemic. Without much evidence at all, Lipkin and 4 other people produced a paper, The Proximal Origins of SARS-CoV-2, where they speculated that it is improbable that SARS-CoV-2 emerged through the laboratory manipulation of a related SARS-CoV-like virus. Right. It biologically was created either through a mixture in that lab or in the wild, but it might have been in the lab, but nobody sat down and put it together and said, aha, the perfect disease. It will kill everyone except Chinese people. We've finally done it. The final solution is here. And then, oops, oh shit, it's spreading. Oh shit, millions of Chinese people are dying. Lie to everyone, kill our own doctor, fuck. Like, get out of here. If it escaped from the lab and it was a bioweapon, it wasn't done. A few months later, Lipkin even thanked Fauci for his dismissal of the lab leak theory. Today, almost 18 later, that view is no longer credible. No. Oh, no. So the lab leak concept, the difference is whether it was naturally created or manipulated. They mix and match these. Congrats. Whatever. In addition to his close links to the Chinese hardline Marxist regime, his close links. Fucking hell. Lipkin also has received nearly 100 grants for Fauci's own. It's America's, you dumb fuck. This is so weird. This is not, the National Institute of Health is not a private organization. There's like a board of directors and a shit ton of people. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yes, he spoke there. Yes, we know. I love, look at this. Look at the ad running on this site. Government will cover the cost to install solar if you live in these zip codes. Motherfucker. The press release, including the email sent from Fauci, touches on Lipkin's long history of collaboration. He's colluding with the Chinese Communist Party and the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The summary, Lipkin receives China's top science on. Congratulations, he said, congratulations, very much deserved, best regards, Tony. You could just tell. Has anybody done the QAnon math on this shit? Fucking hell. Just so lame. Columbia University's Mailman School of Public Health. Mailman School of Public Health? Right. I guess, it's the lab leak through FedEx theory. Columbia University School of Public Health received China's top science honor for foreign scientists, the International Science and Technology Cooperation Award, at a ceremony January 8, 2016. Presided by President Xi Jinping. The award recognizes, so they gave it to him right about that time, as like days before Trump is sworn in. The award recognizes Lipkin's outstanding contributions to science. Lipkin is the John Snow Professor of Epidemiology. Motherfucker, really? We live in a simulation. He's the John Snow Professor of Epidemiology. So winter was coming. That's what you're telling us. This is the silliest simulation on Earth. Jon Snow. What? Hold on. Where did the chat go? Really? I mean, honestly. I wasn't in China. It was FedEx. It was the one-armed man. Deeply honored by this award, he said, it solidifies my relationship with dear friends and colleagues in the Chinese Academy of Science, Ministry of Science and Technology, and the Ministry of Health. and with the people of China. It's very, look at the language, man. He's not saying this shit by accident. At the height of the SARS outbreak in 2003, Lipkin was invited by Chen Zhao, Vice President of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and Xu Guanhua, Minister of Science and Technology, to assess the state of the epidemic, identify gaps in science, and develop a strategy for containing the virus and reducing morbidity and mortality, which worked. Once the outbreak was contained and the resources required, by the way, hold on. Yeah. I thought the timing was interesting. When at the height of the SARS outbreak in 2003 that worked, when Lipkin went there, the Chinese president, which I would call a chairman or whatever, was not Xi Jinping. It was Hu Jintao. And Hu Jintao was extending the openness of China. He was moving towards a more open China. There was every reason to believe that China was interested in becoming if they weren't ready to become like a Western democracy, they were going to move to a parliamentary system. They were going to, they were certainly being open for, with the business world and creating trade and relation ties between, him and the rest of the world. And so in that process, like the difference now, it is basically the attitude that the CCP under Xi Jinping has taken an entirely different tack, is going back to Maoist Chinese rule. Am I going over again? Did I go? No. Okay, I'm all right. I got 4 minutes left. Good. What? Good news? What? One day you'll have to give an account for your life and the money you deserve. Jesus took the punishment. Thanks for saying so. Good news for you. Proselytizing in chat rooms doesn't really help. What I recommend is showing openness, a lack of judgment, and a magnanimity that Jesus showed to the world. And then people will go, hey, I notice that you act like a good person and you're not always selling who you are. What's your secret? And then you might bring people over to your thoughts and your religious belief easier that way. If you're just selling it all the time, but the rest of the time you're acting like a jerk or you're being judgmental, you're not gonna attract any new people. Just saying. Trying to help out. You're welcome. We had a proselytizer in the chat room is selling it. So yeah, you'll need all of that 4 minutes from my Midwestern goodbye. That's true. Where's the Fauci email? That's it. This is the Fauci email. He wrote him one and said, Ian, congratulations, very much deserved. Best regards, Tony. That's the Fauci email. And by the way, again, he worked with them on the SARS stuff during Hu Jintao's reign, and Hu Jintao was more open to the rest of the world. Xi Jinping came in and decided to it was a rental car, and he was going to see what it's like when you throw the fucking car in reverse. Lipkin's academic efforts in China focus on mentoring young Chinese scientists and encouraging China-born scientists to return home for positions in diagnostics and discovery at China's Center for Disease Control, Institut Pasteur, and Wuhan Institute of Virology. He also serves as a member of the Scientific Steering Committee, member of the Joint Center for Global Change Studies at Beijing Normal University. So he's trying to get all these folks to handle their own shit so we don't have to fly in. Oh, yes, I'm good. Jeanette, I will be doing, for those joining us late, I will be doing the Mike Lindell, the Mike Pillow movie that he released on Saturday night. There, yeah, Illuminati confirmed, totally. Fauci exclaimed, congratulations, before adding, very much deserved, in an email sent to Lipkin. I wish I had a thunder sound effect. The email obtained by the National Pulse follows Lipkin's stark denial of a lab origin for the COVID-19. Lipkin was quoted by outlets including CBS News Today, means debunk. Okay, blah, blah. We should be moving forward from finger pointing. Lipkin told CBS after adding there's no evidence to suggest it was created in a lab. Right. That's the difference. There you go. That's what he's describing. It was not created in a lab. It's whether it what they had it, they got it in this bat that was up in this other territory. They brought that thing that tested positive for COVID, but they didn't recognize the type. So they brought it to the lab to make sure this wasn't a new one that would spread naturally through everyone. And while it was there, some asshole walked out of the place with the bats. Or the same guy who caught the bats for them illegally caught some other ones and sold them at the market, and they all had it. That is another completely reasonable way that this could come out. Either way, in the middle of, in the beginning of 2020, Trump was tamping down on people shitting on China because he was trying to finish his trade deal. And there's a big difference between lab leak and created in a lab. And these guys are trying to mix those things so they are the same thing. This has been an ongoing thing, that it was created in a lab and that they were making a weapon and the weapon leaked out and then spread. Instead of just saying that some guy went up there, and they do this regularly. They catch these animals where they usually have these outbreaks, and they try to stay ahead of them and study them because that's where this particular disease spreads through. So this guy goes up, and he's supposed to bring the lab 5 bats, and he's got the right, because he's the guy, to bring them 5 of these bats. And so the team gets these things, and he captures them, and he's wearing a suit, and he captures the 5 bats. And while he's there, they grab 10 more, and he ships them down there in case anything happens along the way. And then he sells those in the market, and they've all got the same shit. Oh, thanks, Dragon. Look at that. Lately, Hal's been getting over 1,000 on every show. That's beautiful. We're growing. We're getting there. I mean, don't get upset, Lindell TV, that I have regular better numbers than you. And if I stayed on all day, it would probably get bigger. Sorry. Is that wrong to poke them like that? So I would, this would be just as ridiculous as if I went, a Texas-linked lab is responsible for COVID-19. Why did the Boston lab that deals with these level of diseases, they didn't have a relationship with the Wuhan lab, but the Texas one did, and the Texas one had direct influence on this place, and that's where the disease came from. Is this another confederacy? Like, you could, honest to God, you could make up as much of a bullshit story around that as anything else. Okay, so several interviews to state-run Chinese news outlets where he insisted, I have so many friends in China and universities, government, that I can help people to talk to one another and work together. Yeah, that's the fucking point. Renowned epidemiologist Walter Lipkin lauds Chinese transparent professional approach against coronavirus outbreak, reads headline from state-run outlet Global Times. Oh, really? 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 National Pulse? I'm sorry. Trump says, she very... Let's see. When was the headline from the state? Let's see. Let's look at the date of this. It's gonna be fun, and I'm almost out of time, but we'll do this as the last little bit. So state-run. Here we go. Global Times, renowned epidemiologist. Here we go. 2/3/2020. Renowned epidemiologist Walter Lipkin lauds China's transparent professional approach against coronavirus outbreak, which we now know, of course, that they were shuffling people out of the limelight and all that kind of stuff, and possibly killing them. And this is where you're like, if we don't kiss their ass, they're not going to let us in. When did he do that? When was this? This was February 3rd. Trump thanks Xi Jinping for handling of coronavirus. He thanks Xi Jinping for his country's handling of the coronavirus shortly after they confirmed a second case in the United States. China has been working very hard to contain the coronavirus, Trump wrote in a post on Twitter. Remember when this is what he used Twitter for. This is what everybody wants him back on Twitter for, so he can keep saying stuff like this. The United States greatly appreciates their efforts in transparency. It will all work out well. In particular, on behalf of the American people, I want to thank President Xi. This dude is thanking the people in the lab for an award a couple of years earlier. He's not thanking Xi Jinping. He's thanking the actual scientists he works with day in and day out, many of whom are now dead. Meanwhile, Trump is like, I really want to lovey-dovey. And then, oh, this bullshit. Site of a field hospital. That, ladies and gentlemen, was a prison for sick people. A hospital is built so that you can get better. We'll put you not an isolation chamber where they shove food under the door. And if you live, you can leave, maybe. And if you die, they just shovel you into the ground and pretend you never existed. Let's see, Congress.gov, here you go. They have to keep track of these kind of things. So this is in the congressional record. Trump is escalating. There's these list of things. January 24th. Janet, that's the one we just looked at. We're in very close communication with China concerning the virus. Very few cases reported in the USA, but strongly on watch. We have offered China and President Xi any help that is necessary. Our experts are extraordinary. Yes, but apparently sending them there is part of Fauci's plan. So you fell into his trap. I think our relationship has never been better. This is January 29th. That's the same one. Just received a briefing on the coronavirus in China from all our great agencies. We're also working closely with China. We will continue to monitor the ongoing the 30th, February 7th, February 7th, February 7th, February 10th, February 13th, February 18th. It's on and on. Question, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. I want to get to China. At the beginning of this outbreak, the Chinese Communist Party covered it up. That has been great. That has been the general consensus of everyone. How can you legitimately trust President Xi and the Chinese? Trump. Xi says communist regime, President Xi, and the Chinese communist regime. Xi, took me a while to figure that one out. To be forthcoming and forthright with this pandemic. Well, I can tell you this. I speak to him. I had a talk with him recently, and he is working so hard on this problem. He is working so... I don't know why this is covered up in this record part. No, he is working very hard. It would be very easy for me to say, it doesn't matter what I say, really. I can tell you he is working. I had a long talk with him the other night. He is working really, really hard. He wants to go away from China. He wants it to go away from China and go away fast, and he wants to get back to business as usual. Are you working with China right now? Yes. And specifically in what areas? The relationship with China is a very good one, and I can tell you that, again, President Xi is working really hard. He really wants his problem solved. As hard as you can work. That's February. February 27th. Congratulations and thank you to great Vice President and all the many professionals. Such a great job, CDC. Oh, look at the many professionals doing such a fine job at CDC. Like Anthony Fauci and other agencies on the coronavirus situation. Only a very small number. All countries working well together. In close contact with China, including myself, Xi's working very much wanted this to happen. He wanted this to get out and finished and be done. He worked. He's been working very, very hard. I tell you that. And they're all taking a lot of progress. You probably saw Starbucks are now opened again. You probably saw that, as I mentioned. Yeah, that didn't last fucking long. March 3rd, we made a very early decision based on a little luck, I suspect, but that was the original decision on China itself and China and all its fairness to them. They never blamed us. It was, a tough decision for them, but they fully understand. They were very reasonable about it. This is shutting down airplanes. On and fucking on. Since the story keeps popping up, when did you first learn that this is going to be a problem? Well, when I learned, I started doing the closings, probably around that time. We didn't learn much. I think you're going to ask a little bit about China responsibility. I do think that, again, I have great respect for China. I like China. I think the people of China are incredible. I have a tremendous relationship with President Xi. I wish they could have told us earlier about what was going on inside. We didn't know about it until it started coming out publicly, but I wish they could have told us earlier about it because we could have come up with a solution. Tony Fauci, of all the people, the talent that we have, would have loved to have had 3 or 4 months of additional time. If you knew what it was going to be happening, They didn't have that time. They read it in the newspapers like everybody else. He fucking tapped the fucking brakes. What garbage. We all now know this is horseshit. But thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask you about China and President Xi. This is March 22nd. I have great admiration for the country, what they've done in a short period of time, but they could have told us about this. He's just now starting to. Sean Hannity, we know this, in fact, it's indisputable. They hid it. They lied about it. Mike Pompeo did, and then Trump goes, well, let's go back. First of all, you mentioned Russia. Russia's looking like they're having quite a bit of a problem, and people weren't bringing it up with the whole thing with the virus. Jesus, it's fucking painful to read. We know about that. That's been really, really bad. And we've offered them assistance. We have the greatest in the world. We have the greatest people at this kind of thing in the world. He meant Fauci, by the way. And with China, they said that some of our soldiers caused the problems. We're saying, what soldiers? What are you talking about? It wasn't by him. I don't believe. But nevertheless, I got out there. I started calling it the Chinese virus. Like, fucking hell. This is like on and fucking on. All this time where they're like this headline from the, like after that, Trump for months was saying the same fucking thing that Lipkin was saying. What a bunch of douchebags. And this all from a chain on this, like, revealed. Jesus Christ, so stupid. One lab top bat coronavirus researcher lists grants from Fauci's NIH. Of course. Because she was one of the people trying to stop it, dummy. Oh, God. These people are gross. I didn't even get to the other stuff. Oh, God. Thank God. Rittenhouse is trending. I'm trying to picture Trump and... let's see. All right, whatever. He's suing CNN and those guys. Trump stole national secrets, classified top secret documents. Says Trump may have kept classified documents for his memoir. Yeah, I saw that. It's like the stupidest fucking thing. Like he just to refresh his memory, he took like fucking national secrets. Guess what? If he hadn't been such of a prick, he could have gone personally to the National Archives and sat down there and written out his memories from that. Woke. Latest updates on Ukraine. We'll deal with some of that later as well. And the woke bill in Florida is eating shit. Edinburgh Fringe Festival, is that ending it? Yep. Orwell Place, Edinburgh. Pay your workers fair wage, clearly invaluable. Oh my God. 8 days of the bin strike. Oh, I see. There's a trash strike while the comedy festival is going on. That in and of itself. Oh, look, they're masks. Gross. It's a trash strike. Yeah, man. Respect your garbage people, your garbage workers, your trash collectors, your bin workers. Bless their fucking hearts. Hashtag police brutality. In Arkansas, police officer on administrative leave, 2 deputies suspended pending investigation after a video emerged showing the officer allegedly attacking a man outside a Mulberry gas station on Sunday, according to local reports. Good. Okay. Yes. Immediate administrative leave, suspended pending an investigation. Get them off the streets immediately. Sounds right. Sounds like that's how the cops program set shit up. So that's how it would happen immediately, as a warning to everybody else. And as a warning to police chiefs and administrators to hire people who they don't have to worry about doing this kind of shit. King of Pop. Rolling Stone UK's cover calling Harry Styles the King of Pop has drawn some criticism. How they call him the new King of Pop. Set the world. He's a very. I appreciate Harry Styles. I suppose he's a relative. We're related. He spells his name with a Y, but he's related to my family line. We're probably 8th cousins or some shit. I mean, I'm from Kentucky, so I'm like 6 cousins degree of separation from everybody on Earth. So bless his heart. He's a silly, silly man, but I wish him all the luck in the world. Happy birthday, I suppose. I mean, you got at some point move the Michael Jackson baggage might be something where there might be another King of Pop. I also will warn everyone that this is going to happen with every label that you've come attached to because time passes. I don't care. Yep, and everybody else putting up the... That's really... Somebody has that? You raggedy bitch is actually a meme? How is that a meme? All right. What you want to do is wear boxing shorts when you're the least likely person in the world to ever box. So, all right, good for you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that brings to the end, and I didn't go too far over. I only went 15 minutes over, especially considering how we got into some, some weekend shenanigans talk and some fairly deep reads, I will say, about the fun stuff this weekend, and the Fauci stuff as well. National Pulse and Fauci haters, you guys, I know you're counting on all your people only reading the headline, and most articles, like I say, I warn people, always at least check the third paragraph where the yeah but start. Your entire article was a yeah but. I mean, you can't even hide it. It's fucking embarrassing. So anyways, congrats to Fauci, I suppose, on your on retiring at 80. If you were 80 and had gone through this last couple of years, you'd be over this shit too. Oh, I'm glad you're liking the hair today. It's a good time. It was back a lot this weekend. I did get a chance, because it was a metal, and rock festival kind of gathering, that I could wear it down and walk around in sunglasses, and everybody didn't know which band I was in. It was good. It was nice. People were like, Are you the new guitar player in Richie? Are you the bass player in Richie Kotzen's band or something like that? I was so confused. Yeah, I wore my Metallica shirt today because I really got into, while we were flying all this weekend, the album I was listening to the most was the first disc of Garage Days Revisited, with The Weight and Crash Course in Brain Surgery and those songs in it. And I just forgot how much I loved that first half of the record, like the first disc. Yeah. So anyways, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you. I hope that is abundantly clear in everything that I do. And I will see you this afternoon for what will probably be a long one. We're going to have to cut it into chapters, I'm going to guess. All right. Enough of my yakking. Let's boogie. All right. I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And again, to everybody who came out this weekend, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.